It's also reasonably likely that something completely out of the blue just completely waylays us.
Damn, you're damn right. So you're getting a message when we go on, right?
Yeah.
Or right before we go on?
Chat will explode if, they mess up anyway, so we'll know.
Yeah, I opened up chat on my phone. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready for everyone to say, what are you guys doing? Start the game.
Yeah. Oh, dang, they did set up a bot. Great.
Dang, we got follow buttons.
Dude, that's how you know you've made it on Twitch, when you got follow buttons. Alright,
Dude,
looks
we're
like we're good
on.
to go. Alright. Hello, everyone. This is Resident Evil 5. I'm Jake Pliskin.
I'm Leomire.
And on the casting couch here, we got Commissar Planet and Neil. They're our resident lore experts. Resident Evil lore experts. So, time starts when the ready timer on my screen clicks down to 50. So in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so this game is pretty...
This game is pretty spooky, like someone in chat said
Yeah.
that I missed.
Yeah, so first thing I'm gonna do is just completely stand still and let Leomire run. This allows me to crack open a cold one at the beginning of the run.
Yes, we read you.
Alright. Got that going. So yeah, this is something that happens a lot in the run. If one player hits a trigger, it'll automatically warp the other player to where they need to be. And we use this to our advantage several times throughout the run. And yeah, this category is amateur new game co-op. And there's a lot of stupid stuff when it comes to running this game new game, because for whatever reason Capcom thought it was a good idea to... Oh yeah, there's a spooky guy that just disappears right there. Don't worry about him. Capcom thought it was a good idea to never allow you to play new game ever unless you just bought the game. So in order to play new game, we actually have to disconnect our games from the Steam cloud and delete our save file. And that's gonna cause a lot of problems, as you will probably see. This is the hardest dodge in the game, by the way.
By a mile.
Definitely the hardest dodge. So once again, Leomire's just gonna jump out of the window and I'm just gonna wait here. This lets me pick up a little bit of handgun ammo that you normally wouldn't get. The stream is desynced. Well, that's...
Yeah, your stream's all the way at the beginning of the game.
Are you kidding me? Really? Wow, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
I can't say I've ever had that one happen before.
What does that mean? Was HQ expecting this?
Oh, I'm back cracking open a cold one. I guess what I can do is I can just restart my stream during 1-1.
Yeah, you could restart it up here.
So yeah, you guys are going to be watching Leomire's stream with my audio, which is going to be a little bit confusing for the first, like, several minutes of this game, which is not ideal, but okay. Yeah, I would... Normally we would just deal with it, but I think we might be able to at least get it a little bit closer. So I'll just restart my stream and then hopefully that doesn't break anything. Oh yeah, another thing is because we have to delete our saves, I actually have to change my control settings every time we do a run. The default controls are absolutely horrible.
They're synced up, but we're retaining the 3 FPS.
Oh wow. Well, that will improve. Last time it was laggy when the stream started up, so I think that's just the fact that I'm streaming to Mixer and not Twitch. I mean, nothing happens in this chapter anyway. This is basically an auto-scroller, so this is the time to fix problems. Is right now. And he slows shit. Okay. So yeah, the time that this executioner takes to open the gate, we have no idea what determines it. But yeah. The main dynamic of this run is the two of us splitting up to accomplish tasks separately. Whereas, I guess normally when most people play this game, they do everything together as, like, force multiplier, I suppose. But yeah, we try to split up and get... The path we take is dependent on the in co-op, any item of value that you pick up goes equally to both players rather than just to one player. Okay, that was very scary. Somehow this guy isn't dead yet. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so there's nothing really going on in this section. We're just going to go to a place where we're 100% safe from any randomness. So I guess the best thing to do now would be to explain how this game basically doesn't work at all for online play. Capcom stopped supporting the servers quite a while ago, and the netcode of this game was never very good to begin with. Basically what that means is that if we get desynced from each other at all, or our internet connections do, we will disconnect from each other. Now normally that wouldn't be too big of an issue, but because we're playing New Game, and our data is not being saved, that means that when I were to rejoin Leomire, who's the host, I would have 0 money, 0 weapons, no healing items. I basically lose everything if we ever disconnect from each other. So I've prepared backup saves. Hopefully it won't come to that, but it is a decently likely chance that we disconnect at some point in the run. Which, of course, you know, it wouldn't count for a world record anymore because of all the craziness that would happen when you disconnect, but for the purposes of a marathon, we should be able to get going in the first place. Oh yeah, my stream is running at a very cinematic 18 frames per second. It's 33% more cinematic than an actual movie. That's partially because we're trying to minimize the amount of data that we're sending to the server, because that actually affects how often you crash. So if we were to both stream this game at 2500 kilobytes per second, 30 frames per second, there's pretty much 0 chance that we wouldn't disconnect. It's great. This game is very well made. And as you can see, this is some extremely difficult combat right here. We're infinitely stun-locking the enemies with very precise inputs. And by that I mean we're holding space and left mouse button.
I'm gonna take out the door. Find some cover.
Alright, and that's 1-1 disposed of.
Like one of the longest levels too.
Yeah, it's actually one of the longer levels in the game, just because it is an auto-scroller. 8:32 is a pretty decent time. A lot of saving time in this game comes down to just minimizing the amount of inventory work that you have to do. Because it is timed via RTA, so any time that you spend in the menus is time which is added towards your total. Is it actually like 5 frames per second? It shouldn't be that low. It wasn't when we tested it.
Both S rank though.
Oh yeah, that S rank. Oh, another thing is, usually even if I get to a door first, I'm gonna wait for Chris to kick it. That's because Chris takes about half a second less to kick open a door, and Sheva's model is small enough that she can actually squeeze through the door. Whereas if Sheva is kicking open the door, there's pretty much no way Chris can get by. Oh wow, you failed one of the hardest dodges in the game.
I got bottled.
You got bottled by the guy coming out of the boxes.
The chant. Do you copy? The chant.
Oh, it was the layout. Oh, well, damn, I should have bet on it being a layout bug. We were betting that it would be audio issues, but, well. Let's face it, like 80% of the time when you run into technical difficulties in a marathon run, it's going to be something audio related. This is so strong that, well, okay, it's not always a benefit because Chris is so bulky that when he's trying to climb up a ledge, it takes him literally twice as long as Sheva, because he has to lift the weight of his 400-pound biceps over the ledge, and his 400-pound pectoral muscles. You can inventory or you can do inventory management while you're on a ladder, or when you're doing anything that doesn't take away, or that does take away. Oh, I always mess that up. That anything that takes away control, basically, you can still do inventory management as long as it's not a partner action. So you can reload your gun while you're on a ladder, or while you're on a zip line, or pretty much anything, really. This is one of the main reset points for if you're doing serious attempts. There's a boss fight coming up here where you have to trap it in that furnace. And if you knock over one of the gas canisters, it's actually fairly easy to do because you can stun him in the furnace for a long time. But if you choose not to, it saves 8 seconds, but it's very likely that he'll escape. And so Leo's going for the run starter. Because this fight in general is the run ender, so he's going for the run starter by knocking over the gas canister. Okay. I mean, the layout still looks fine, as long as the frame rate is decent. So yeah, here Leo's gonna lure him in there. And I'm gonna pull the switch. If you mess up at any point in this fight, you lose 40 seconds, so the run is pretty much immediately over. This whole process of the furnace closing and opening takes absolutely forever. That's one exception where I will kick open a door voluntarily, because whoever gets to the door first has to unlock it, and they're locked in that animation for a while.
Come on, hurry up!
Yeah, this is a really fun co-op game to play just casually. Generally what people say about it is that it's a bad Resident Evil game, but it's a really, really good co-op game. Why does it take so long to pull a lever?
Because you're not Chris.
Because you're not Chris. Yeah, Chris just, like, takes one finger and, like, slams it closed. Sheva's gotta actually put her back into it. Oh, man. I think you had actually got that one. Oops. So yeah, these claymores are kind of annoying because they can damage you, and also they can make you shield yourself from that blast, which slows you down. There's not really a whole lot in terms of the speedrun that's going on in this section. We're kind of just running through everything because you can. I'm gonna go for the risky strat. Dog's not in the way. Oh, but this guy is. Oh. Risky strat fell apart rather quickly, and you got hit with the Franker Z cruise missile. Oh yeah, this part is really fun. This is the traditional get charged by a truck meme from Resident Evil. And this is actually the hardest dodge in the game right here. Looks like we made it.
Not getting hit again.
Wow, okay. You know what we could do if my stream is being choppy? We could swap it over to yours, and then I could just mute mine and you could unmute yours.
Yeah.
If it's really bothering everyone that much. But part of it is just because this game just does not like to be captured. Just does not run very well in general.
We can switch at, what is it, 3-1?
2-3?
No, 3-1. Not
At
the
3-1?
auto-scroller.
Oh.
The boat.
Oh.
Because I just sit on the boat for a good second.
Something's coming. Watch out!
The stream died? Oh boy. That'll only be like the third time that's happened today. This guy is just content to like sit here, I guess. This is another funny thing about the game. So right here, Chris is gonna get a key. Even though Chris got the key, I can immediately unlock the door and open it before he even gets here because the items are shared between the players. And I stand there for a second to hold the door open for him because, again, kicking open doors takes a long time. Here you'll see just how much faster Sheva is at climbing things than Chris. She just pretty much rockets up. Yeah, dude, what if we do the triple capture? We have someone playing RE5, someone playing RE4, get another runner to do RE3. We can have the ultimate lag stream. Alright, coming up here is like probably the hardest trick in the game.
At least for me.
At least for Leomire.
This is actually...
Like, he's gonna try and throw a grenade clear over an entire building to unlock a door. And the idea being, if the grenade is thrown in such a way that it unlocks... No, it didn't work. You can see that little red lock there that he's trying to hit. I'm gonna try and get it off right here. That might be good enough.
Hold on, I'm still stuck at a door.
You're still stuck. Alright, I'll just grab extra grenades then.
Yeah, you got it.
Alright, nice. Yeah, so basically, he was trying to get that door unlocked earlier by throwing a grenade. There's a reliable way for Sheva to do it, but that Chris trick is really hard to do, to be honest. We don't really do this regularly. We're the current world record holders, but there's very little competition, to be fair. And our time is pretty good as is, so... This guy's pretty tough, but that was a pretty quick kill. Again, Leo's gonna pick up the key, and then I'm gonna unlock the door and hold it for him. This chest actually has a lot of treasure, so even though it seems like a waste of time to grab this stuff, it's more than worthwhile for the amount of time you'd save elsewhere. Yeah, the reason we play this game is just because it's fun to play co-op. It's not really the best speedrun to play, but a lot of people love to watch it because they have fond memories of playing the game in co-op. This game also has about 1 million cutscenes that you need to skip.
Alright, at 3-1 we'll switch.
3-1 will switch.
Yeah, switch streams.
Yeah, so lastly, on 3-1, we're gonna switch to Leomire's stream because it's probably gonna be smoother. And set your desktop audio to -6 decibels. That's what I've got mine at. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be exactly the same for you.
Past the station. Not too far from here. Follow me.
That's gonna be, I don't know, how long do you think that is from now?
Like 10 or so.
Yeah, it's actually further than I thought because we have the whole auto scroller plus 2-2. Are you going for the 400? The 400 gold?
Oh no.
Screw that.
Come on! Come on!
So this is the mine section. Everyone remembers this part. Notice how our GPS is unavailable. Apparently we're too deep underground for our GPS to work. Remember that fact for later when we're in hidden underground concrete bunkers hundreds of feet below the earth and our GPS still works. Oh! The pickaxe guy! That unfortunately that's probably the hardest dodge in the game that he just failed.
This game is actually 420 hours long.
Yeah. Oh, wow, okay. I was just taking that hit so that our next healing item is more efficient. And it's to lower dynamic difficulty, of course. Yeah, this game actually has dynamic difficulty, just like Resident Evil 4. The way that works is, the more ammo that you waste, the more times you die, and the more health items that you use, the less damage the enemies do, the less often they spawn. And it also affects the drop rate. Generally, when your dynamic difficulty is higher, you get more money and less ammo, which is really bad in this game to have if you're playing it casually, because the money drops are pretty much completely worthless. They're so small in denomination that you might as well not use them at all. Alright, this part is just complete luck, whether you get hit or not. I made it somehow. We both made it. Yeah, there's a crossbow guy and a dynamite guy, both of which can put some serious hurt on you.
You should heal me right now.
I'm not going to.
Alright. Sick.
I'll heal us in the fade out for the Mutalisk boss.
Relocated Irving. Already
Actually, you don't need to heal us if we do that.
We think he's heading for an oil field in the marshlands.
It's down.
Oh yeah, the fourth hardest dodge in the game is really hard. But you'll see there's one coming up here that's even harder than the hardest dodge in the game. So I pick up this diamond to give me invincibility frames against that shovel guy. That's the only reason that we actually use that. If you don't shoot that diamond down, which is what Leo just did with his sniper rifle, did you get it?
I got it.
Okay. Right there, I wait for him to pick up the treasure before we jump into the checkpoint. Oh wait, I need to upgrade this. Okay. Yeah, if you don't shoot that diamond down, that shovel guy will camp the bottom of the stairs. He doesn't actually charge you, he just stands there, waits for you to try to climb the ladder, and then hits you. So these dynamite guys and this crossbow guy kind of just like to look at you. They're probably the least menacing enemies in the game, and that's saying something. Alright, so now we literally fight a Mutalisk. That's this boss. So he shoots it down with the sniper rifle. Sniper rifles actually do an insane amount of damage in this game. Oh, that's not where my grenades are. And then we should be able to one-cycle him without too much trouble. Oh! Oh, okay, the last Beretta bullet. The last Beretta bullet. That was so close. That was so close.
I heard about Irving. Tough break.
Yes.
Yeah, so after this chapter,
Shove it to headquarters.
we'll swap perspectives.
There's a
We'll
high
put
voltage
Leomire's
line
up
driving his
and
own
then
way to an oil
have
field in
him
the marshlands.
turn his audio up and mute mine. And that should fix the choppiness, hopefully.
They don't let him, do they?
No, Leomire shoots him with a sniper rifle, and then I shoot him with a pistol and the MP5. Basically, Leomire shoots him with the sniper rifle to knock him to the ground, and then we unload both of our machine guns and everything we have on him for the one cycle.
Oh, messed that up
okay.
somehow.
I don't know how that happened.
Hardest QT in the game.
Yeah, hardest QTE for sure. You have to do 60 hertz smashing of the
What
QTE.
does all this have to do with Ouroboros?
Alright, where is this
Yeah,
guy?
this section is
The only way we're getting
pretty interesting because both of these guns do exactly the same amount of damage and have exactly the same rate of fire, but Sheva's has spin-up time, which means you can't really shoot objects out of the air unless you get really lucky. This chapter also has the best quotes in the game, so if you guys were looking for the classic RE dialogue, it definitely shows up here. Oh, that was a close one. Oh yeah, that's the other great thing about this section is, despite the fact that everyone knows about Las Plagas and the events of RE4, they're totally mystified when all of these guys show up with exactly the same infection. Makes for some great suspense, great writing. Lower your keyboard frame rate. Yeah, there's really not much to this section except holding down the trigger. On professional, it is quite hard to get S rank on this, because you have to be both precise and not die.
Do you even chat understands our plight when we hear where could this illness or where did this come from?
There's no getting past that truck unless you do.
Do something
Do
about it.
something about it. And then as that truck explodes, it immediately becomes nighttime. Did you know that every time the sun sets in Africa, a truck explodes? Little known fact.
He's trying to ram us into the river.
Do something!
Something.
And then this is the part where they got really, really lazy with the development of Resident Evil 5 to the point of reusing bosses from the previous game. Yep, it's El Gigante. Unfortunately, we can't just blast him with a rocket and instantly end the fight, like in Resident Evil 4. Instead, he's probably one of the most troll bosses in the entire game. Just because he loves to defy your pattern in any way possible. You'll see those red barrels that are on the sides. They're an easy way to get free damage on him, but every time you shoot one, he will do a contextual action like lifting up this boulder or whatever, which, wow, okay, that actually hit us somehow.
Okay, whatever. It doesn't
Which,
even matter. We don't need help.
yeah, it'll induce a cutscene which causes him to waste a whole lot of time. And on top of that, it's not possible to one-cycle him unless you're playing at 30 FPS, which we're obviously not, because 30 FPS causes the entire game to run slower. Yes, this is one of those games where your frame rate is directly tied to your movement speed. So, if you run at 30 FPS, you might get a one-cycle, or, you know, you might run the entire game slower and still not get the one-cycle. Also, these QTEs are broken. Only player 1 actually has to press them. So I don't even have to pay attention to them really. Are these taking forever, or am I just sucking right now? Oh, nice one, nice one. That pun was not intended. And you can see how close we are to a one cycle. That boss is like so close to dying after the first cycle, but nope, it's not possible. Alright, I'm gonna mute my stream. You wanna crank your volume up?
I'll do it on the boat.
Okay.
Actually, I'll just do it in the loading screen.
Yeah, let Lastly know this is like... Just drag your sliders up to... Okay. Alright, we should be good now. It should look a lot better. That's fine, that's fine. Okay, can I Beretta the emblem from here? I can't even see it, so no. Alright, this is everyone's favorite chapter. The marsh level, where you get to control this awesome boat that... What is happening? You're spinning in circles with your scorpion out. Oh, are we just desynced? I'm still driving. Okay. Okay, that was... I get a feeling we're gonna disconnect anyway, but I still see you moving, so... What the heck? Wow, that's amazing.
We're all infected.
Yeah, this is the Capcom code. That somehow worked out better than it usually does. Yeah, by the way, guys, the chances of that desync not resulting in a disconnect is probably about 100 to 1. Like, if you desync by even the tiniest amount, you will disconnect and your run's over. So that's like, I think that's the first time we've ever seen a desync that did not result in an immediate end of the run. Yeah, it's new game co-op. Me, Jake Plisken, I'm playing Sheva, and Leomire's playing Chris, but yeah, it's too choppy if we have both OBS windows up at once, so... Oh, seriously? Well... It doesn't pick it up at all? Like, you're not getting... Just take your time, like, I can do the whole thing on the boat, like, when we get the rocket launcher. You don't have to get that beetle. Like, just immediately click F, or, like, get back on the boat, or whatever, and just let me get the rocket. Which reminds me, I should probably give you this now. Oh, dude, look at this route. Oh, that didn't work. That was not where I was aiming. That just happened. I just, like, slid to the side by about 14 feet when you healed me. Yeah, those gators or crocodiles or whatever, they are one-hit kill. They are the second most dangerous enemy in the entire game. Which can present a problem because they like to camp choke points. But luckily this is the only place where you encounter them. There's one later. Oh yeah, so I don't know if you guys are hearing Leomire or not, but his mic is not getting picked up by OBS. He can fix it, but he's gonna just do it while we're on the boat. But yeah, he had to switch his audio over, so if you guys aren't hearing him, that's only temporary. Don't worry about it. It's not just me. Okay, apparently your mic's working. So don't fuck with anything. Just like, oh, whoop, that's not how you do it. Just leave it as is. So if they can hear you, I mean, that's all we need. Oh, it is just me, okay. Yeah, okay, whatever. You have time to fix it. Test, 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 test. Here, go in game and press F for me, or switch spots.
Oh, there we go. I fixed it. Yay.
Nice, okay.
Nice capital post.
No one... People either can hear it or they can't hear it. I would quote Idra at that point, but that'd probably get me in trouble. Yeah, so this part... There's enemies that like throw grenades at you or something. I've never been hit by them, ever. I don't even know if they can hit you, or if it's just for dramatic effect.
Oh, the archer guys?
Yeah, I've never been hit by them, and I don't think it's ever even come close. But this part right here is probably one of the trickier parts of the run, because Leomire has to hold... He has to operate a crank, and he has to hold it open for long enough that I can get across the bridge while enemies are pretty much right on top of him. We're not going to kill them, obviously, because we don't have time. We gotta go fast. So I have to distract them enough. You can see this big guy is trying to chase Leomire. There's actually 2 of them. So I need to run around distracting them until this bridge is up. If anyone attacks him during that stage, he drops the bridge and
I got one of the big guys.
Come on.
Alright, that went pretty smoothly. Yeah, no, you can actually get hit by those grenades, it's just that I'm an arrogant asshole.
I don't think they can hit you. I think the like scaffolding they're on blocks them. Like, I don't know why they're there.
We'll try, lastly. We'll try our hardest, but no guarantees. Alright, this is where we flick the kill switch, right? Wow, you had a 9.1% accuracy.
Yeah, dude, all like 40 shots I shot into the water.
Well, rip the all S rank speedrun. It died at like 1-2 when I had 0% accuracy. Man, I have so much shit in my inventory. I need to do some of this. I'll give it to you while you're climbing ladders. That'll work. Alright, so this is another example of using the reset mechanics in a way that they're not supposed to work. What Leomire is going to do is he's going to trigger a checkpoint and then reset the game. And then what that does is it despawns all of the enemies and puts us exactly where we want to be. And this is the part where I struggle because I have green switches in my keyboard and I have to press A and D about 1,000 times to get him across this. No exaggeration, it's literally like so many times.
Yeah, we used to have me do this, but I would spin it too fast because I play on pad and it would just desync because, you know...
Yeah, if you try to do this crank with an Xbox 360 controller, you will spin the crank so fast that it will desync the players from each other and crash the game. It won't just disconnect you, it will crash the entire game for the client. The host will stay fine, but the client crashes completely and can't rejoin. And it happens in a number of places. Like, we didn't know what the crash was. We thought it was just a bug with this chapter. And then, incidentally, we had it happen at a different crank in 2.1, where Leomire was operating the crank and caused us to crash. Basically, any crank will desync the game and cause you to crash.
If you don't shoot, you get 0% accuracy and you get a C rank, which is
yeah.
tough.
Alright, just run straight through here. We don't need any of this. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how completely broken this game is. To be fair, I don't think it's as broken on console. I think it's mostly a problem with the PC port. But yeah, it's really bad. It's really bad. There are so many things that can just kill your run instantly. I'm just glad we haven't disconnected yet, because this beats our previous record for disconnecting in marathons, where we disconnected in 3-1. So I need to try and get that crossbow guy into a long stagger animation while Leomire pranks. And then we're gonna take separate paths. Leomire's is considerably harder because of the number of crossbow guys that he has to deal with. And we're gonna be operating 2 cranks. Normally this section forces you to fight 2 crossbow guys, or not crossbow, 2 chainsaw guys. But we're actually gonna leave both of them alive and just operate the cranks as fast as we can. Oh wow, okay. He just reset my crank.
Oh my god.
Come on, come on.
Yeah, that's the other thing. The turn. Oh, okay, I'm dead. I did not even see that guy coming.
I didn't even know that was possible on amateur.
Me neither. I thought he just put you into dying. Okay. Well, that's the first death of the run.
Good job, team. Oh, we have to
We
do this
did it.
over. That's okay.
Wow, okay, we didn't get the checkpoint. Okay, whatever. This is pretty shitty, but okay. It's a marathon, what do you expect? That guy, like, completely killed me, like, straight out of the cutscene. Like, he was waiting for me to finish the crank and then kill me in the cutscene. It's pretty good. Oh, it's still good. Alright, all jokes aside, this is probably like the hardest screen in the game. Like, just one of the hardest screens in the game, just because of the fact that you're split up. If you need to help each other, you really can't in any timely manner. And the chainsaw guys apparently can instantly kill you. I didn't even know that they could. And my crank got reset again. And it got reset. Okay, am I literally gonna die again? Yep. That's happening apparently. This has never happened before. I've never been killed even once there, but now I guess he's just deciding he's gonna go super quick and kill me before I can even turn the crank. You don't even have any choice there either, because you're stuck in the turning the crank animation. If you leave, he instantly kills you, and if you complete it, he swings before the animation finishes. Yeah, this run has never happened before. We've never even played this game before today. It's not happen this time. You know what's funny? That guy wasn't even the guy who canceled my animation the last time. It was the guy that I shoot at the very beginning. Like, okay, I decided to just get paused in my animation. I like that too. Almost got killed yet again. Oh, okay, this is gonna happen too, I guess. The really unfortunate thing about getting hit in this game is that the stun animation is literally like 5 seconds long, and there's nothing you can do about it. Some of the stun animations are like even longer because you get knocked to the ground. dangerous desync territory right now. The main technique of this part is just trying to keep enemies from hitting Josh, because the timer for him unlocking the elevator or whatever is based around when he completes hacking the terminal or whatever, and if he gets hit, it pauses that timer. Oh, that was... Alright, he should be almost done. Oh no. Bailout strategy. Okay.
On the elevator.
I got dunked. That was really slow for some reason. You must have gotten hit at some point, because normally the big man Genie don't actually have time to hit him. You need to equip a rocket too, don't you? Yeah, this is slice panic too.
Damn it! Is everything locked down? I need. Come on!
I got you, fam. Oh, wow.
This is going to be a pain in the ass.
That efficiency. Oh, whoops, sorry about that.
You didn't grab the mic. Whatever, you have a
That's
grenade.
okay.
You have a grenade.
Yeah. This is really bad. This is really bad. Okay. This is okay, he went after you instead.
Okay.
He was just camping me while I was in the middle of impaling like a random enemy. None of these people sound like Terry Crews. An unfortunate oversight.
Get your nade out.
Shiva, do you?
And what if I don't want to? Oh, I'm gonna turn around instead. Clear evidence of button camping. That is not gonna be good.
These guys aren't making this easy. Hurry up, you two. We are ready
I forgot that in this game, when you try to throw a grenade,
Get over here.
encounter Venus-like air resistance and just completely stop after about 20 feet.
Dude, did you see Josh block all the zombies?
Yeah, dude. Wow, look at that S rank time, which is like probably the worst time we've ever gotten on that stage. Oh yeah, we still have 3 full heals. We're totally fine, even though we took so much damage. Alright, we get another auto scroller.
Ow.
Also, if anyone was ever in doubt as to whether Resident Evil 5 was the most shots fired Resident Evil of all time, this chapter is here to prove you wrong. There are more explosions in this single chapter than in most. Pretty much than in all of Michael Bay's entire filmography. Alright, this is the hardest dodge in the game right here. Okay, he just chose not to attack at all. That's fine with me. Ow. Somehow you need help. Oh, luckily the cutscene decided to shorten the animation. I don't know. Is RE6 more shots fired than this? I think this one is. This one's got like I don't know. I'd say it's probably debatable. You don't run away from a train in this version or in this game. Did I say movieography? I thought I said filmography. But whether or not you want to classify such films as movies or films, also up for debate. Can you knife that guy? I'm pretty sure you'd be able to knife that guy. He's so close. You did that grab.
Okay, you do know what to do.
Oh, it didn't work. Man. That's unfortunate. Also, this section is great because Josh survives sitting completely out in the open against two miniguns that are aimed directly at them, but they luckily decide to shoot at us instead of Josh, despite having no protection from them whatsoever. Are you kidding me? I got hit by the Transformer. Oh, Transformers, Michael Bay. Illuminati. Alright.
Okay, now let's go get this Irving.
Coming up is probably the hardest boss in the game. Irving requires 2 frame perfect. Well, not frame perfect. 2, like, 6 frame window-ish rocket shots.
Chris, status report! What the hell is that thing?
Just get out of here, Josh. It's too dangerous.
We'll try to stop it.
Oh, did you get the string?
Just try not to get yourselves killed.
Okay. Dude, you even Scorpion one-tapped the boss.
Those for special effects.
So there it is. We beat the hardest boss in the game first try. We're clearly gods. This is also a period where the chances of crashing / disconnecting are extremely high. This entire chapter in general.
That name Irving said. Excellent.
You've heard it before?
That's the name of the director of Tricell's African division.
Do you think she could be connected to Irving?
It's possible, but I don't have any proof.
Tricell. If there is a connection, what does that mean for Africa?
No.
What does that mean for Africa?
Not sure.
What does that mean for Africa? Gigantic plaga spiders. Let's continue this conversation at a more convenient time. So yeah, flash grenades instantly kill these things, and there's like at least 10 of them in this hallway, so that's pretty much the most value flash that you get. Yeah, I mean, it's debatable as to whether you call the Irving boss kill a one cycle, because
I never knew such
it
a place
requires you to
existed.
hit him with a rocket first,
Looks
and then
like there's
another
been some recent
rocket
activity.
when his form is exposed.
I hope Irving was telling
It
the
is,
truth
I guess
when
it
he
is
said we'd find
technically a
answers
one
in this
cycle,
place.
because it's the first time he's actually exposed. But if you do it that way, you don't have to fight his tentacles or any of the other stuff that you would normally have to struggle with. So this is where the game starts to split you up a lot. Prior to this, you can pretty much do everything with 2 players working together. And after this, they throw more and more tropes at you to split you up. Fortunately, we can pretty much immediately get reunited every single time because we know exactly where to go. And we're not actually fighting any of these enemies, so... This is also where the QTEs start to leave the realm of reality, if they hadn't already. This is my last grenade. So, we'll see how this goes.
We both know that I'm gonna take all the damage, so it's not like it matters.
I mean, you are host. Okay, that literally got like 16 kills per turn. Oh, that's... okay. That was dangerous for a second. Those things kill you in one hit. Those rolling fireballs, I guess. Quite literally, fireballs. Well, HJ00001, if we end up having to reconnect, after a disconnect you will see Sheva exposed to some extent, because I think my backup save has the tribal costume. I don't know because I haven't checked since the last time we did a marathon run, but it's about as close as you get.
Best QTE sequence in the game.
Best QTE sequence. And now we get to see them dramatically jump over each other, maximizing the possibility that they would crash into each other and get crushed and killed. But you know, you gotta style it out for the camera when you're in an Indiana Jones style temple run. The tribal costume is marathon safe in more than one sense of the word. I'm just hard on that section because when we first played through this, Leomire was telling me about how it was like his favorite section of the game, like when he played it casually, and I was like, "What? This is like the dumbest part of the game." So now it's a meme. Just critique it as much as possible.
Oh yeah, I like this section because it's so dumb that I went beyond my expectations.
Work safe? Oh, definitely not. I don't think any of this game is work safe. Oh, that always happens somehow. I somehow make it by. You get hit. In our world record run, an arrow literally goes through my head, does not detonate, and then nearly hits Chris.
stand around while you get in position.
Yeah. This is one example where you are forced to split up the game's intending to. But that doesn't actually save any time for either of us. There's like no real way to save time. Oh, you didn't think I was gonna pick up that gem, were you? Because I skipped it in practice. Do we always choose the same character? Yeah. Or at least, I do. I've always played as Sheva because I like having the character on the right-hand side of the screen.
I always play Chris because I like Chris and I like the camera where it is.
Yeah. Okay, so if you guys played through this casually, you're gonna be really surprised by what we do right here. You think, oh, it's Mutilist Boss Part 2. But actually, you can literally just run away from him. You don't actually have to fight him. Which I was impressed by this when I first started running the game. I didn't know you could do this. I thought you had to fight him and kill him.
Yeah, I thought you had to fight him.
Yeah. You don't get the treasure if you don't kill him. But you don't have to kill him. It's not required.
See, C rank for firing 0 shots.
So this section, we have to select, or we have to find 3 emblems, I think they're called. They're either emblems or talismans. And we are going to make heavy use of checkpoint relocation. We're going to use it twice. In particular, normally what you'd have to do, there's all these lasers and stuff. I don't know, don't question it, it's Resident Evil. You have to make it through these sections, timing your movements with the lasers. And there's checkpoints before each of the partner actions. So right here, I'm going to hit a partner action. Leomire's going to reset. It's going to warp him to where he needs to be for the partner action. And then we're going to go and get the last 2 emblems separately. And then because of where we'll be after that, I'm going to be closest to the location where we need to put the emblems into position. And putting an emblem into the slot triggers a checkpoint. So when I put the emblem in, that is going to be Leomire's cue to reset the game, and it'll move him to where we need to be. It sounds complicated, but really all that's happening is he's resetting the game every time we get a new checkpoint. Unfortunately, this is where it would be good to have 2 perspectives, but say la vie. So here I get the sky emblem, and I put it in, reset, and we find ourselves
you put the emblems
magically...
in, I'm gonna heal us.
Okay. We find ourselves both magically at the plate where we need to put it in. And I get stuck in a cutscene because I put the emblems in. Now I know your pain.
I don't know, I thought you had to fight the bat thing, because, you know, usually you fight every boss, at least I was taught that, so...
Yeah. Especially with Resident Evil, like... Resident Evil, you don't explicitly have to fight every boss, but that convention didn't really come into play until the remakes, like... I mean, I guess you could skip bosses in 1 and 2 to some extent, but not a lot of people knew about them. Or knew about those skips. Whereas in Remake, for the Yawn fight, there's like 4 branching story paths just for whether or not you choose to fight it or not. Yeah, I mean, the treasure, if you're playing through casually, it's kind of worth it to fight him if you have the ammo, because the treasure is worth like 5,000 or something. Hell, that's like 2 upgrades for your favorite gun, you know? So yeah, this is just your traditional laser puzzle. Resident Evil 5 is really light on puzzles in general.
Yeah,
People
3 and
say that.
Nemesis is the exception, I guess.
Yeah. I'm safe to turn this right now, right?
Yeah.
Come on,
Keith.
come
Wait,
on.
hold on.
Oh. Okay. Now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, we used to have a pattern for doing this, and we did it wrong once, and that screwed us up forever, because now we're always second-guessing ourselves. If any of those beams touch you, you instantly die. Like... So yeah. Alright, so 5-1. This is the first time I actually sell treasure in the entire game. And it's also where I buy most of the rocket launchers. So does Chris. This is like our best point for menuing. So you can see I've saved up $39,000 dues worth of treasure. That's the main point where we're actually doing inventory management in this game, just because this sort of starts like the boss rush, where every single stage has a boss at the end, and quite simply the fastest way to go through it is just by using rocket punchers.
First, we need to find out
If you
about
guys
Jill.
played this game casually, you'll probably
Let's see what we can
remember
dig out.
the Ouroboros boss, which is coming up at the end of the next chapter, which can literally take like half an hour to fight if you do it the intended way. Most people don't know that a rocket will kill it instantly, so a 30-minute fight becomes about a 2-second fight with a rocket launcher. The reason why we
This is the
depend so
facility from
heavily
the
on
picture.
rocket launchers throughout the run is because, number one, they reduced the price of rocket launchers from Resident Evil 4. In 4, a rocket launcher cost $30,000, which was quite a bit of money. They reduced that to $10,000 with this game, and in addition, because you're playing co-op, you're getting essentially twice as much effective money as you would be if you were playing alone. So playing co-op gives us a big buffer in terms of the amount of money that we would otherwise have if we were playing solo. So rockets are actually not that inefficient, and on top of that, up at the same time causes way too much lag. But I'm sure that the admins will figure that out in due time. There's still like 6 days left in the marathon, and plenty of co-op runs to come. So this cutscene is actually the only cutscene in the game we don't want to skip. That's because the elevator continues to go down while you're in the cutscene. And if you skip it, it actually doesn't progress the elevator any further. So by not skipping that cutscene, we have less time that we have to deal with these lickers that are trying to come down this hallway. Okay, you're good. You're good.
Come on!
Oh, the stream got licked.
Yeah, he was refreshing.
Too bad. Okay. My rocket is on 6. I need to remember that.
Alright.
Yeah, this is probably the hardest boss in the game right here. Oh, especially when that kills me. I definitely pressed that, but okay. I guess the game didn't want to,
We'll blame it on the,
blame it on the restreamer.
yeah. we were distracted.
That actually loses like almost no time, but... Okay, working at time. And that's the boss. Like I said, one of the hardest bosses in the game. It's actually a meme because when we were learning this game, I probably missed the first try rocket on that boss
5 times.
8 or 9 times in a row. Like, I never got it first try, so naturally it developed a reputation as being
So this was the facility.
unequivocally the hardest boss.
She's got us under surveillance. I can almost guarantee she sent that VOW to eliminate us.
You can ask her about that.
You ate the cutscene. The stupid one where it's just like, oh, here's the big reveal.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. I thought we were desynced. I was like, oh, good God. But hey, guys, we haven't disconnected yet, right? That's a new record for Resident Evil 5 marathon runs. Actually, it has not happened yet. I don't mean to jinx it or anything. This is a momentous occasion. You should all be celebrating right now. Also, while we're in this cutscene, we're invincible, so even though there's like 6 guys unloading AKs into us, we don't take any damage.
Come on!
Alright.
Crab battle? A Kenyan mangrove crab. To the right. No, it's to the left. Oh, wait. Wait. Left? No. No. This guy is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. Okay. This one is right. Okay, luckily every single attack targeted you. So I made it through.
For whatever reason. This is right.
Yeah. Alright, so if you guys ever wanted to know how to clip through walls, this is actually how you do it. You know, we're just so far ahead of estimate that we're gonna run along this wall and waste some time for you guys. This guy's just in shock and awe. He's like really happy that this run is going so well. Oh, and triggered the cutscene somehow. I've never seen that shit before. Okay. It was probably because I aimed the gun at him. No, the reason we're running against that wall is because you can exploit a glitch where, oh, I got grenaded somehow. Basically, when you're playing online, especially in co-op, the game can only send a certain amount of information to the server at a time. And so one of the things the game does to try to keep the game synced is it tries to predict where you will be in the next couple of seconds based on your inputs. And so what we're doing when we're running against the wall there is we're tricking the game into thinking that we're actually going to be out of bounds. The reason for that is because the game doesn't actually compute whether or not the place that you will be in a few seconds is a legitimate position to be. So by running up against the wall like that, we actually trick the game into thinking we are outside of the trigger area. Wow, that's the first time I've seen that. We trick the game into thinking that we're outside of the trigger zone for the cutscene, and that does not trip the trigger that spawns a bunch of enemies. But somehow we messed it up. It worked for a few seconds, but then it oh, that's not good. Dude, who even grenaded you? There's like no enemies near you. Oh wait, there are. What the heck? I've never seen someone even take damage there. Extreme battle of 2 or mercenaries from 3?
What could they be planning?
I'd say a war.
Probably mercenary. I don't know.
Mercenary.
My favorite is still the Tofu Survivor. And for some reason, we always get a lot of lag right there. I don't know why. I still think the Tofu Survivor is the best minigame, but you know. Oh, that's even more lag. Interesting. Yeah, so these enemies are called Reapers? Or Reavers? Reapers, I think. They're named after some StarCraft unit, but they are the most dangerous enemy in the game. They can kill you with one hit. Alright, so right here, you're supposed to go down and around on this conveyor belt. You're supposed to go the intended way and then do sort of U-turn and end up at this little indentation on the side. But because this game is not well designed, you can literally just run up the slow conveyor belt and make it without doing the intended way, and it's actually faster. This game was well tested.
What's this middle?
Yep, I got it. Yeah, if anyone is upset about the fact that we're rocket launchering our way through all the bosses, don't ever watch a New Game Plus run, because New Game Plus is a million times worse than this. The main reason we run New Game Plus is for New Game Regular, is just because it's slightly more interesting to watch for the spectator than New Game Plus, because New Game Plus you just have infinite weapons, you blow everything away. With this, there's actually some challenge with dealing with severely unupgraded weapons. You'll also notice that Leomire discarded both his Beretta and the Dragunov.
What does she mean?
Something about
And
a
is running with
philosopher's
just the
stone and
Scorpion
collecting
for
DNA.
pretty much
Doesn't
this
matter what
entire
she
run,
says. She's just a
which I think is
terrorist. End of
crazy
story.
because machine gun
Can't
ammo is
risk
not
little
actually
burros
the
getting
most
out of here and
common
infecting people.
Then let's go take care of business.
resource around. But it is nice because the fact that I'm using handgun ammo and he's using submachine gun ammo means that we place less strain on each other's resources throughout the run.
New Game Professional is impossible because you gotta beat the game once to unlock Professional.
Yeah, so, yeah, the deal is when you first start a brand new save file, you can only play New Game, Amateur, Normal, and Veteran. You can't play Professional. And because this game doesn't actually let you start a new game, like, a new game in this is not a new game. Like, even if you've already done Chapter 1-1 or something, you're still gonna have stuff from the So, yeah, you can't really do New Game Professional. There are people who have done it in the sense that they have they've modified a save file so that they have zero money and everything at the start of a professional game. But it's not a real category per se. You get the rifle. If you, or I can get it if you want. Actually, I'll just get it because I have, or I'll get the letter or whatever.
I opened the case for you.
Okay.
The case is open, you just get it.
Okay. Sorry, I added an extra cutscene in there for no reason. Did we only get one Reaper? I think we did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so this is another aspect of dynamic difficulty. At this stage, you can get up to 3 Reapers. I'll run on, just prepare it. You can get up to 3 Reapers at this point in the game, which is really bad if you do, because they take a long time to kill, and you can't really leave them alive. This platform takes so long to move that you really just have to kill them. They do give a lot of money, which is nice. Oh, I didn't see that guy. Oops. Wow, I shot him through the vision slot. I shot him through the vision slot again. Stones. Okay. Yeah, the Reapers drop Power Stones, which are worth 10,000 each. Which is a lot of money. Yeah, the reason... I think they're 10,000 actually. Because we get 20,000 after 6-3. But, because I died twice, the game is probably thinking our dynamic, or is probably lowering our dynamic difficulty quite a bit, which means only one Reaper drop. It does mean less money for us, but money is in such abundance in this run that you really don't need to worry about it. The PSG-1 proves to be quite important too, because without a rifle, there is a bug that makes 6-1 impossible to complete on the Steam version. So, I might as well explain this because it's coming up. On the Steam version, in 6-1, there's a cage that drops down on one of the players, and the other player has to fight off a horde while the other player is trapped inside of this cage, or something like that. Now, in order to raise the cage to free the other player, you need to get a key. And this key is carried by one of the enemies. But on the Steam version, the enemy does not jump down to a location where you can kill him. He just runs around on top of this gantry forever and softlocks the game. So we actually have to kill the guy who is controlling the crane before he has the opportunity to drop it. And without a rifle, that's nearly impossible to do. So having a rifle here, whether it's the PSG-1 or getting the Dragunov from earlier, is absolutely essential. The Heart of Africa is dropped by Wesker in the boss fight coming up, and that's 10,000. Reapers drop Power Stones.
Come on.
I know they don't drop the Lionheart.
The Lionheart is from Lickers, remember?
Yeah, Lionheart's from Lickers. And
yeah, you have to
the
kill
glitch is like 100% random. Like, you don't know when it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty sure it happens all the time, because in every practice run where we forgot to do that, this was like way early when we were first routing this game, we came up with this route pretty much 100% just by playing the game and figuring it out. But before we knew that, we would always have that cage drop, and it would cause us to lose the run immediately. So here Leo's shooting frag grenades from his rocket launcher. They're the last frag grenades he's going to use in this run. Or from his grenade launcher, sorry. And looks like he killed everyone, which is really fortunate. There's 4 enemies at the top there. When we ran this for Cal Fire Marathon, we played on veteran difficulty. And in this game, when you're out of healing items, the next enemy that you kill will always drop a green herb. And in that run, we were out of healing items, and we were like, oh boy, we really need some healing items. And Leomire managed to kill all 4 enemies with 1 frag grenade, and because they all died instantaneously, we ended up with 4 green herbs dropping at the same time, which is pretty dang.
Then we need to locate the controls. Maybe they're in that building.
Yeah, that's true. No matter how much.
I don't know. He seems really like Chris, since he yells "Chris" all the time.
Chris. Yeah, that's another thing. If you pay attention to the cutscenes in this game, no one ever refers to Sheva except for Josh. It's always Chris. They're like, Chris. Or, Chris, are you okay? It's like, what about Sheva? No one cares about Sheva. The sad reality. So this part can be pretty tricky. There's lickers that sort of randomly go after both players. My goal is to bait as many of them to the low ground as possible, because obviously I don't have the ammunition to expend to try and kill all of the ones that are going after Chris. So I'm gonna try and lure them down to give him enough time to flip the switch. And then he's gonna have to work his way through an absolute horde of lickers. 7 minutes.
Hiding. Alright, best fight in the game. This was actually hype when
Yeah.
I played through this casually, though.
Yeah, this fight is really... This is one of the better parts of the game casually.
7 minutes.
It can be a little bit troll. Oh, that's... I just got kicked by Jake. That is not good. So, what we're trying to do is we're trying to shoot a rocket at Wesker in such a way that he grabs it.
7 minutes is all I can
When he
spare.
grabs a rocket, he will sort of catch it in midair while the rocket is still firing, like that.
We'll never win
And
like
then
this.
Chris will
Time to
shoot
change
it,
tactics.
and that does enough damage to instantly kill Wesker from full health, which prevents you having to wait the full 7 minutes.
Also gives
And
us the heart of
now-
Africa.
Yeah, that's the heart of Africa right there. And this is probably the hardest boss fight in the game.
If we can remove that device
No
on the
joke, this
chest,
probably
we can
is.
learn how to
Oh god, my camera.
that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, there she is.
Come on, come on.
I can't work with that. Wait, I got it. Nope. So I have to get a specific angle on Jill. Get her. Yes, so what I'm doing there is I alternate between shooting Jill in the lower leg and in the control module. And instead of doing what you normally do in that fight, which is try to knock her to the ground and then pull off the control module, which takes like 3 or 4 cycles, if you simply shoot the control module, it will lower its effective HP so that Chris can rip it off instantly. I am really low on ammo, but you have enough. So this should be fine. Fastest 7 minutes. Yeah. He's like, 7 minutes. That's all I have to give to you. He instantly gets blasted by a rocket, decides
Do you
7
think they're
minutes
planning
is
to
too
use it to
long.
spread Ouroboros?
No, using a ship like this would give away their position too soon. We must have another plan.
This part is sketchy. Okay, it's fine. I got him, don't reset. Okay, so that's really hard to do. Normally, getting that shot requires you to climb up a ladder, which puts you too far behind Chris to make a reset feasible in a short amount of time, but I managed to get a fairly difficult shot. The guy that I shot, I know you guys didn't see it, but the guy that I shot is the guy who controls the crate, which will drop, or the little crate thing that will drop down onto one of the players. So by shooting him, it prevents the crate from dropping, which prevents us from having to deal with the bug where the soldier with the key does not drop down from the gantry. Yeah, I mean, so right there, that's where the grate would normally drop down to trap one of the players, right where that first aid spray was. getting by those guys without getting hit is pretty much impossible. The important thing is just that we trigger the elevators at roughly the same time so one of us doesn't fall too far behind. Okay, if we're talking Resident Evil hair, it's gotta be Leon number 1. I mean, I think that's obvious. Number 2, Ada, maybe? I mean, Ada's got that crop cut. Wait, what?
Which form of Ada? Like 6 or 5?
4.
Or wait, no, 4. And then
6
2.
is shit, dude. Ada 6 had shitty hair. Her hair was like not natural. 4 was the best, probably. Then 2.
And how do you know that?
What about Jill
Let's just say
remake?
we have a history together, and he's not the type to let grudges go.
You must have done something to really piss him off.
It goes a bit beyond just pissing him off.
See, I don't get into the whole Resident Evil waifu debate, but I do get into who has the best Resident Evil hair, and if anyone wants to argue that it's not Leon, they have a stern task ahead of them. So this is the part where the guards with guns starts to get a little bit insane, like to the point where there are more people with assault rifles than not. Pretty much your solution versus enemies with guns is to just run as fast as you can and hope that you don't get shot. The reason being, it's okay if bullets hit you, as long as you don't get hit by too many. If you get hit by 5 or 6 bullets, you'll stagger, and that slows you down a lot. But as long as you're only getting hit by a couple bullets, you can just keep running. No problem.
You want me to rock it?
Yeah, go for it. You're gonna have to re-equip though. Oh, Wesker hair. Wesker definitely goes hard for the sunglasses, although isn't there also Chris Safari that has some pretty dang shades? I'm pretty sure they're just Wesker's shades that actually protect him from being stuck.
What about Chris in the new game?
Oh, yeah. You mean in 7? Okay, we just tanked some RPGs to the face and lived with no damage. Just Resident Evil things.
Come on! Hurry up!
Yeah, in the new game. RE7 Chris. He does in my fanfiction. What the
I actually haven't played 7, so I don't know. Okay, so welcome to 6-2, aka the QTE chapter. Pretty much half of this level is QTE and the other half is a boss fight. And if you look at this cutscene closely, the characters really aren't going anywhere, they're just running back and forth across the same stretch of railing, or I guess the platform, for like the entire duration of the cutscene. They just jump back and forth like 4 or 5 times, rather than actually trying to run away. Yeah, Wesker and Mercenaries with the first aid spray. He's just like, gotta get that hair looking crispy.
Persistent son of a bitch.
So now what? Do you think our weapons can hurt that thing?
Okay, legit dodging
We gotta get
these
the hell out of here
things
before
is the hardest dodge in the game. I didn't know you could just run by that. That's sick. And so coming up, this is actually supposed to be a fight with one of the forms of the Ouroboros that you don't normally see. This guy right here is supposed to turn into a Ouroboros Duvalia, I think it's called, which is probably the most dangerous form of the Ouroboros mutations. but the game does not have an animation for turning an enemy into a Duvalia while they're on the ground or when they're on fire. So by knocking him on the ground, by lighting him on fire, and then just headshotting him, he will not mutate, which means we save a really annoying fight from happening. Alright, this is the Excella fight. This is like the hardest boss fight. You gotta get 2 pretty much perfect rocket shots, plus this perfect laser shot, which is like, I don't even know how this thing works. Oh wow, this is being really uncoordinated right now. Yeah, pretty easy. It has 2 bulbs, I guess, which Leo rockets one of them, and we use the game's built-in laser for the other one. And then it exposes the central core, which you just shoot with a rocket, and it kills it. It doesn't actually matter whether you hit the others ones with a rocket. It only matters that the central core or whatever is hit with a rocket. That's the only one that makes a difference. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Just barely though.
So that's Ouroboros.
I have like
Fear for the world if
8,000
that ever
spare.
gets out.
God damn it, Wesker.
Yeah, you could toss one flash grenade. Issue being, we don't have a flash grenade, so
You can't fly around in that
we
without
can't
getting
actually
shot
do
down.
that. And also, flash grenades only appear
Plane can't get shot down.
in a scripted number of places, which are all really out of the way.
Unless you kill a bunch of people and get it.
Yeah, unless you actually play it casually and kill a whole bunch of people, in which case they might drop one. But they're not exactly the most common thing. You could buy flash rounds, but then the issue is Leo has to switch ammo, which requires him to stop moving, which would lose at least a couple seconds. So there is really no convenient way to use flashes. I'm extremely low on it. Luckily it doesn't matter.
From the bulkhead.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Stun rod, yeah, always. Another thing about dynamic difficulty is because it reduces the amount of damage. These stun rods that would normally be putting me pretty much straight into caution are doing almost nothing to me. Oh, 10 rifle ammo drop. Dynamic difficulty coming into that. Oh, the flash grenade. Invalidated. Invalidated. So this part is pretty much just waiting for these bulkheads to open extremely slowly when while you're getting swarmed by a horde of the strongest enemies in the game. Oh, I missed that. My bad. Yeah, I guess I forgot to mention also the flame rounds from the previous section are used to get rid of those tentacles. Normally you'd have to go around them, but if you shoot them with a flame arrow, or a flame arrow, got beef on the line. When you shoot them with a fire round, they disappear. So right now, we're going to demonstrate the extreme splash damage that rocket launchers have. I mean, rocket launchers are really overpowered pretty much in every Resident Evil game, but we're about to kill 2 mini-bosses with 1 rocket, hopefully. If I can hit it correctly. And there we go. Just 2 mini-bosses. It's supposed to be like one of the climactic fights of the game, but just dispatched with no effort, really.
Something doesn't feel
Yeah,
right.
luckily this run is almost over, so...
Alright, this is actually the hardest trick in the game. Like, no
Yeah, this
jokes
is actually the
aside.
hardest fight in the game.
Like, this is the hardest trick, and it's dumb.
Yeah,
I'll see you dead.
that's good. Oh, wow, he didn't charge. Okay, so basically what's happening here is... That's... okay, typical. What's happening here is Leo's trying to shoot Wesker in a specific way that he charges, and then he has to do another specific animation that leaves him open to take 1 pistol bullet. So basically, he's going to try and put him at 0 HP. That looks good. Oh. Wait. He didn't do it. Wow. Amazing. Reset. Basically, what he's trying to do is he's trying to hit Wesker with the splash of the rocket, which brings him down to 0 HP, and then I have to hit him in a 1 frame. There we go, got it. Nice.
Do it now! Give him the shot!
It's like a 6-frame window where he's turning around, where he's vulnerable to take shots. Normally, Wesker will only take bullets if he is in that state where he's collapsing to the ground. Otherwise, you have to do this crazy thing where you trick him and do all kinds of weird stuff. But basically, Leomire hits him with the splash damage of the rocket, and then the 1 Beretta bullet is enough to push him over the edge to the point where he gets killed, or his health is low enough that we can finish the game off, finish the fight off that way. Yeah, we're fighting Albert Whiskey right now. Albert Whiskers. This is also everyone's favorite QTE. Where Chris somehow saves her from falling out of a fucking airplane. I already organized, don't reset.
Got it.
Alright, this is the very end of the game. We're gonna do another trick here, which is a quick kill on Wesker.
Understand, Chris? Do you really believe?
Yeah, sorry, we're not gonna punch through into this run. But basically by not jumping over this cliff, which is what you're supposed to do,
escape this winnowing bombard.
I fucking missed. Wow.
We still had the reset, it's okay.
Why can't you understand, Chris? Do you really believe the world is worth saving?
Basically what's happening here is Chris not jumping over the ledge cancels a bunch of Wesker's triggers, which would normally prevent him from being 1-cycled. Once Wesker jumps across that bridge, he's locked into a pattern where you have to complete the whole boss fight normally.
Locked and loaded.
Alright, time is coming up right now. And time. So yeah, that was Resident Evil 5. Time for the corniest ending in Resident Evil history, probably.
That was for our fallen brothers.
100% rock punching category? Yeah, I could easily do the rock punching.
Yeah, rock punching is actually the backup strategy if we run out of money. If we run out of money and can't afford the rocket, then that's what we do, is we punch the bullet. So yeah, that's Resident Evil 5. We went a little bit over estimate, but considering the technical difficulties we had to deal with... Oh, we didn't go over estimate, did we? I put in 150 as the estimate. Okay. Awesome. We did it, guys.
Yes.
Woohoo. So yeah, considering all the, you know, nonsense that went on and the 2 deaths that were extremely costly, those deaths probably cost like 3 minutes in total.
Worth fighting for.
That's a really good run. I'm more than satisfied with that.
For a future without fear.
Yeah, I'm fighting for a future without fear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's worth it.
future without fear, boys. So yeah, that was Resident Evil 5, Rocket Launcher %, New Game Co-op. I'm Jake Pliskin.
I'm Leomire.
And we got more runs coming up, so thanks for Shots Fired for having us. And stick around, guys.
See you around.